Okay. My first question here is from Peter, and he writes, when should we start up live events again? That is a tremendous question. And what we're telling our clients right now is, I believe April, May, and June, no. July is when we're going to begin all of this. Okay. So contact those restaurants now. Goodness gracious, they're going to love to hear from you. And here's another thing too. We can start negotiating some rates. Hey, listen, that $90 a plate dinner is now going to be $70. That $55 plate per dinner, maybe we get it down to $35. I'll tell you another thing Advisor just negotiated with their restaurant is discounted gift certificates. They bought $125 gift certificates to hand out to their clients. That restaurant was so darn appreciative. They got 25% off, okay? 25% off on those. What a great gesture to give to your clients. Okay, I've got another question in right now, and that is from Amy, and she's asking, how quickly can we get up on TV? So typically we say 4 to 6 weeks, but we can expedite that to 7 to 10 days. There are some pieces, and by the way, let me clarify that. 7 to 10 days from the time that you greenlight the project, okay? It is a bit time consuming to investigate all of the pricing, okay? But once we have that, 7 to 10 days. I have one from Gordon here. It says, want to focus on digital marketing. What is the best for the money marketing with a limited budget? Began my own practice recently. Okay, well, I'd love to talk offline about that. That I would say that the best bang for our buck right now would be to use a digital format, probably Facebook, okay, to get people into your webinar. That's going to be step one, is that we need to keep our pipeline filled. So I would look into that, and I am going to have some answers for that next week from my interview with George Villar. They've actually put pricing together. If you've worked with Army 360, now Leading Response, I would encourage you to call your rep over there, because they probably have some pricing to give you right now. So that would be my first step. If I don't have the budget enough to do that, I can do a smaller version of that with the banner ads that we talked about. Do I believe in doing live seminar webinars with vouchers, then try to work full on with leads virtually? Okay, I want to make sure I understand this. Do you believe in doing live seminar webinars with vouchers, then try to work full on with leads virtually until July? Yes. So if I'm understanding you correctly, I do believe, not unlike the dinner seminars that we do, the dinner's kind of the gift or the premium that we offer folks for coming out. The voucher here, or the gift certificate, would be that voucher. Now, they need to stay on from the beginning of the seminar to the end of the seminar to be eligible for that voucher / gift certificate. But yes, I do believe that. And I have story after story right now, okay, of folks that are getting great appointments from their web-based educational events. Abby, I have some business owners that I want to interview. Do you have suggestions on format, questions? So that is, Abby, that's a great question. This is what we do for interviews. We ask them. So rather than I need to come up with the questions, let's say I'm interviewing Pete at Three Brothers Pizza. Pete's going to have 10 great questions that he wants you to ask him. Okay, that's the way we conduct all our interviews, by the way. And when I'm interviewed by media, I provide them with 10 questions to ask me. As in, we don't know when it's safe to be live in person. Okay, Sarah, that's the follow-up to that, which I'm really glad that you asked. I have some advisors right now that are going to and are setting up live events for June, okay, which I think we're rolling the dice a little bit. Not that it won't be open and not that the state will give us the green light, but I believe that our seniors might just be skeptical about going out in June, no matter what the media says. So I think July is going to be a safer month, but the worst that can happen in June is that you reschedule those. But I wouldn't want to send out mail and then reschedule. So I'd want to make the decision sooner than later about that, which you'd have to make in May. Okay, Jeff, do you think the free virtual consultation holds the same value for a business? Could you clarify that a little further? Do you mean that you would interview another business, or your business? Alfred, You guys look great. How do we get well-versed for the hardware setup things you're using, camera, lights, microphones? This is the #1 question we're getting for folks. I'm actually going to hand this over to Nikki Shank. She's my executive assistant, but she really should be called executive tech guru. She is responsible for getting so much of this up in our office and conducting. We have them pre-recorded, by the way, that we can send out to you. They're tutorials. So Nikki, what would you recommend to someone who's just getting started right now?
Yeah, so my recommendations would be, of course, do your research on the software products. You know, before MEG decided that we were going to use Zoom and Webinar, we did extensive research to make sure that those programs were suitable for our needs. So not every business is the same, but those are the platforms that we recommend. So we advise looking into those. In terms of cameras, lights, as Mark said earlier on this presentation, we are working directly off the cameras from our laptops during this presentation, and we do that this entire week as we were working remotely. And as you can tell, the quality is great as long as you have, you know, a newer laptop. If you don't, there are webcams out there that you can easily hook up. And in terms of microphones, a lot of computers these days have internal microphones that are very high quality as well. If you have questions on how to work things, I have found a great resource is to be YouTube tutorials. MEG ourselves, we are putting together tutorials on the programs that we use. And if you are one of those people that are using the same platforms we use, we most certainly can help you with those tutorials that we've created.
Great. I would be remiss right now to not introduce another member of our team here, and that's Jordan Jones. She's our senior marketing and media coordinator here. She is my right hand. I don't know what in the world I would do without this great person on staff. So I'm thrilled that we're all on here right now. Okay, I'm going to take my next question. Oh, Jeff, you had a follow-up as opposed to the in-person free evaluation for prospects. Okay, so what we're saying right now is that there's 3 ways that you can meet with us: in person, on the phone, or virtually. No, nothing is ever going to be as good as a face-to-face. And listen, I'm 52 years old. I'm kind of old school. Tech, I've really had to, I ain't gonna lie, okay? I've had to embrace it. And I'm gonna tell you, now that I understand it, I absolutely love it. What the heck took me so long to start using this darn technology? And I got a couple of good folks in the office that are like, Mark, you got to get on it, and you got to get on it right now. And I'm like, show me how to do it. That's how I learn. Someone's got to show me how to do it. And then once I'm up to speed, I'm good to go. Okay.
I want to say something really quick, Mark. In our first webinar today, we had a client who was in on the webinar, and she actually messaged me while we were doing this Q&A, and she said, hey, I actually just closed my first person doing the whole process virtually. And so she was really excited to talk to us about that. We're going to get some more information from her on how that went and what she did that we will be able to share in short order.
You know, for those of us who were in the mortgage business years ago, the entire transaction was not conducted in person other than the signing at the end. So I do believe that financial services is moving that way, where we can conduct the entire transaction virtually via FedEx, via eDocs. Okay, so the time is right now for the mindset change to the tech world. Okay, next one I have is Edward, and he writes, a big part of our business involved running in-person college planning and Social Security workshops. The cost of these events was primarily purchasing the lists. We ran our first college planning workshop virtually, and the response was half of our usual averages. Is there a better way to do this? Is it worth continuing these workshops virtually? So there's a lot of variables in there, a lot of variables. It is impossible for me to say, here's the issue. Now, Edward, if we have an opportunity to work together like we're doing right now, we're having all our folks send us their webinar, okay? And we're critiquing it. One of the things that I've done for years is coach advisors on public speaking, as well as radio, as well as television. And sometimes it's the simplest little thing that we need to change to make this work. For me, this is coming down to how are we doing our call to action? I'd love to see what your call to action is. Okay. Next I have Gordon, do you have some successful scripts for inviting prospects to a Zoom meeting? We do. Rather than successful scripts, I'd rather say successful invitations. Best tech for business owner interview, that's from Chris, Zoom. Grant Dorhout. Hey, Grant, he's one of our clients. I shouldn't be using last names, but you know what? Grant, baby, we love you. We love our clients, baby. We love them. They're family to us. All right, Grant, I know you're probably laughing in the background there. We haven't had anyone willing to do virtual meetings. Everyone has said they want to wait and do it in person. Thoughts? Okay. So, how do we create a sense of urgency with these folks? And the way that we're doing it right now is by asking questions. And those questions are, is your portfolio ready for what could potentially be and has been one of the most enormous corrections in stock market history? In fact, the past 42 days are unprecedented. You got to make sure that you're good to go. You got to make sure. And if we can meet online and you can leave that meeting feeling great, wonderful. The other piece is, and you heard me say earlier, is your portfolio ready for Don Trump to win or Joe Biden to win? Is your portfolio ready for that? Next, where do you think coronavirus is going to take the market? Where do you think coronavirus is going to, what is that going to do to your retirement? Okay, do we remember 2008? Hey, I remember back to 1987 when my father lost a dump truck of money in Black Monday. Okay, so we have to remind people that this isn't something that we have a lot of time to sit on, because anything can happen any day. Grant, I look forward to talking to you soon, brother. Jim Kindred. Oh, I'm sorry, I used the last name. I shouldn't be doing that. I've been working exclusively virtually, don't even have an external office. Jim, that's the new way, baby. That's the new way. Gordon, how may we see the answers to these questions and answers FAQs? So I think we're going to make these webinars, and we haven't really discussed that. So Nikki and Jordan, we should really send this webinar out to those folks that were in attendance, or figure out some derivative of that. So I'm not sure yet. I will tell you this, the best bet is to set up a 15-minute consultation. Yes, Nikki?
Just to elaborate on that, when the webinar is done, there is actually a replay link. So when the webinar is done, you can actually go back to the link that's in your email that you used to get to this room, and it will take you right back to the instant replay of this whole webinar, and you can fast forward to this section if you'd like.
Man, that was easy. We don't have to do anything on our side. That's awesome. Hey, for you advisors, remember that from a compliance standpoint, and by the way, you can't play fast and loose with compliance. You must be in compliance, okay? Just know that it's recorded. Okay, I've got another one here from Lamb. What if you're not an AUM person? I do insurance only. That's fine. Listen, there's tons and tons of folks out there that are insurance only. I'm going to tell you this right now. Go get your 65. You'll make a lot more money and you'll do a lot more insurance production if you have your 65. And I've got a lot of data to prove that. Grant, dude. Gordon, cool. Okay, I'm going to go back to some of my other questions here. And I've got one from Amy. How quickly can we get on TV? I think someone already asked that. Don, can you help me finish my book? Yeah, absolutely. We facilitate 3 types of books here. One is a single author book. Okay. This might be the time to get that done, right? Let's get that book finished. We also facilitate contributing author books. So you might be one of 10 chapters or 12 chapters. We only do financial advisors in our book. So we're not going to have a chiropractor and a dentist and everything else. And they're strictly financial advisor retirement books. Those go bestseller. We guarantee that. And then lastly, we have a book that you can kind of rewrite a little bit and attach your name to it. We've got it licensed that you can do that. So there's 3 ways that we facilitate books. We would be happy to help you with that. Okay, Sarah, it's good to see you there. What if there are people willing to come out despite the guidelines? LOL. Next week, Bradley has 15 people from St. Pete seminars. How do we approach them? Okay, so you're a couple of counties down from us, and in Sarasota, and we're in Tampa. So I will tell you, the Tampa mayor has said that starting tonight at 10 o'clock, this being Friday, the 27th, I don't know, it's not called shelter in place. It's called some other silly euphemism, but you're not going to be allowed out of your house except for essential services. So, I don't have an answer for you other than, I would make a legitimate case that now's the time to act. Okay, those people are hot. Bradley's awesome. I will bet you right now that if he sent out a bomb or he attempted to contact a few by phone and by virtual, he'd have a lot of them. Okay. But Joe, thank you for chiming in on that. He's a client of ours right here in Tampa, Safer at Home. You're really, I showed you the picture of my father. He's 83 with my son who's 2, right? We have to think about those people first. Thanks, Joe, for reminding me of that. They really shouldn't be coming into your office. They really should be at home. You need to walk them through the process. I'm telling you, if they're anything like my parents right now, they are so scared of this technology, and they don't have to be. They just don't have to be. I remember when we got my mother on Facebook 4 or 5 years ago, she refused to get on it. Now that we have her on there, she's more technically savvy than the rest of us on there. She absolutely loves the platform. So, you know what I'd like you to do, Nikki? Would you send out your tutorial to these clients of ours, Sarah and in Sarasota, so that they can see your tutorial on it. Maybe they can do a derivative of that for their clients. Okay, I got 5 minutes left till the top of the hour here. Are there any more questions? And Jordan, would you do me a favor? I probably missed some of those, and I don't want to miss anyone that reached out for a question. So could you just give that a quick look over? I'm also doing the same right now.
Sure. Gordon asked, what is the minimum investment to start with our firm? And I think that that's a great opportunity for us to talk in that 15-minute complimentary consultation.
I agree. I just feel that throwing out random numbers it's never a good idea. So I can go over that with you in a one-on-one. And again, no cost, no obligation. We can go through all our price points. And really the price points are depending on what you need, what your goals are, okay? Because some people have very elite goals. They want to do elaborate things. Others have very, or I should say more modest goals. So our price points are set up accordingly.
Also from Joe Cucinato Sr. We love Joe. Do gift certificates, giving away gift certificates create a compliance issue?
So in every state, there's going to be different gifting. Okay. Also depending on whether your insurance and or equities license. So you're going to have to find out from whoever your FMO, BD, RIA is on those. But yes, there are some gifting limits. And by the way, we travel all over the country to visit our clients. Usually we onboard them in their office. Obviously, we're not doing that right now. We're going to be onboarding them virtually. But the Cucinatas in Philadelphia brought us to one of the most spectacular Italian restaurants I've ever gone to, called Pesto's. And I got to throw a shout out. That food was so dang on good. I'm going to go back to Philadelphia for that restaurant alone. So thank you, Joe Sr.
And then Sarah just sent in, what is the best rebuttal to, I'd like to wait for this whole thing to settle?
So we have to light the fire. Okay. And so I always like to do rebuttals with a question, right? When people, and I'm like, do you think it's the best idea to wait until this is over? Yes, I do. Do you know when this is going to be over? No, I don't. Do you know what's going to happen with the stock market? I need to get to a point where I hit their hot button. Okay. And the hot button is, and let's just say this person's 70 years old. I'm making something up right now. They're retired. I'm like, okay, how much can you afford to lose? Just hypothetically right now. Well, I can't afford to lose anything. Okay. Can we stress test your portfolio so that we can see potentially what you could lose if 2008 happens again? So I would you got to keep asking questions. You got to get to the hot button. Okay. I'm not into beating people up. I never do that. For us, because we're so blessed to have so many clients and so many prospects, my operative word is normally next, and we're going to move on. I tell people the way that it is. Let me describe that for a minute. You need to do the following, and you need to do it now. That's what you need to do. You're going to make the decision as to whether or not you're going to do it. Okay. I've told you that you do. If the light bulb didn't go off, I'm not going to play sales guy all day long. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to move on. And I will tell you something, when you learn the art of the takeaway, it's very powerful.
That's all we had. I think we've answered all the questions.
All right, everyone. My goodness, thank you so much for coming out today. I sincerely hope I have a chance to say, well, I have already said this to some of our clients, welcome to our client family. But if you're not a client yet, I really sincerely hope I have the opportunity to say to each and every one of you, welcome to our client family. Hey, stay well, be safe, Godspeed. Godspeed.
Bye.